Well, that was an awesome talk right there with Mr. Terrell. That's awesome, and I think that Ralph asked him some great questions. I just want to, just for a minute, since this is faith and freedom, talk to you a little bit about biblical worldview. To me, God is the creator of all of us, and because he created us, you and I had nothing to do with it. So if you're created white, or if I'm created black, or Latinos are created Latino, I can say then that God had you and me in mind when he brought us into the world. So, I've said this number of times before, if you don't like me being black, don't get mad with me, I didn't do it. And if somebody don't like what God did in creating me and bringing me into the world, don't take it up with me, take it up with God. So I want to tell you that some of the things we're dealing with now has to do with the economy of God in terms of what he's doing. This is hugely important for us to understand. When God created man, he created man to be like him. He says, Adam, I create you in my image, after my likeness. And then he gives them 4 requirements or 4 visional statements in Genesis 1:28. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. So in the creation, God said to Adam, listen, I want you to understand that I'm making you to be like me, but everybody else that's going to come into the world is going to be like you. So what's the issue? Is what he looked like outwardly? No, the premises of what he believed. What's the principles that you live by? Because this is going to be the thing that I want you to get. The tendencies of the father will become the traits of the children. That whatever Adam was in his principles, in his standards, he was going to, after God brings him the wife, the union of the marriage bed, allows them to have children. So his children were going to also be able to demonstrate what they learned in the home. Now we're dealing with some real key issues here today because there are a lot of people that are conceived out of wedlock. Their parents maybe never knew God. Some of them had never gone to college. Some of them were not principle-based. I had a mayor of a certain city ask me to come to do a prayer breakfast. And he asked me, since you are old, he didn't quite say it that way, but it was something like that. I'm 72, so I didn't mind. He said, what was your best advice to me? I said, number 1, be principle-based in your leadership. Don't be politically based, principle-based. Number 2, don't do your first term to win the second term. Number 3, train somebody to take your place just in case you don't make it the next time. In other words, when you think about your assignment, it's the same as the original assignment that God had in Adam. Be fruitful, multiply, take my standards. So God gives Adam one restraint. He says, when I put you in the garden, I put you over the whole world, but I'm starting you out in the garden. So what Adam did in the garden would prove whether or not he could be promoted out of it. So guess what happened? The devil comes in there. He let the devil, or through a serpent, talk to his wife. He didn't do anything about it because in Genesis 3, it says he was standing there. So he abdicated. He didn't fight for 2 things. Number 1, the principles and vision that God gave him. Number 2, for what this person was saying, in this case a serpent, was saying to his wife. He should have told that serpent to get out of there because he had authority over the garden. He should have told his wife, don't listen to her. Don't listen to that serpent, listen to me. And because he had complete authority. But he stood there and he was quiet. He didn't say anything. So then when he sins, God comes down, and when he comes to Adam, he says this, because you hearkened to the voice of your wife and did that which I commanded you not to do, and then God pronounced his sermon, this sentence on him. This is what I want you to get. Adam died because he said, if you sin, you're going to die. His son becomes a murderer. In other words, the tendency of the father becomes the traits of the children. We reproduce after our kind. The first law of government is self-government. Every person in here needs to look, number 1, at themselves to say, am I living because God has brought me into this world, number 1. Number 2, is my vision a vision that God will validate? And number three, if you judge yourselves, as it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, how am I doing? How am I doing in the call of God on my life? Now, we know that man failed. We know that Jesus came. We know that we've been redeemed. So look at us. Jesus was sent to redeem the sin of Adam. We're now born again. Ralph just said it. We are faith and freedom. Faith is the priority. So now look, how are we doing as believers? So I'm saying that in Isaiah 9, the government of the world shall be on his shoulders. If we're the body of Christ, we carry the government. As believers, the government does not carry us. So we're the ones that should be leading. So let's get to the president now. I gotta rush. So the president comes from the Hebrides Island, his family line. His mama comes over here when he's 18. There was a great revival in the Hebrides. What's so amazing about the Hebrides Island? It was influenced by Calvin. Calvin, and those in the Hebrides Islands are ultra Calvinists. They believe that your life is a result of a determination of God. And I just said that to you exactly. So our president was pounded by his mama where the revival started. She left when she was 18. She comes to the United States. She marries this man sometime later, but she still has these ideals in her mind that what her son is going to do is greater than just make money and be a builder like his dad. I want to tell you that I know a few billionaires, and none of them, except maybe one that we know about in the past, would run for president because they think that their money is their high tower. And so as a result of that, what you got going is this man made up his mind and said, I am going to serve my country. I've already made the money. I'm already rich. Now I want to serve my country. Now come on, let me get with this. My time is fine, but let me get with this. So this man is following a destiny from God. So if you look at, nobody believed he would win the debate. Remember that he would be the Republican nominee, then when he won it, nobody thought he was going to beat Hillary. Look, and then he becomes president. Nobody believed, except some of us, that he could win, but it still was kind of beyond our minds. This man is ordained by God to be the president. That's the issue of manifest destiny. Come on, get with me on this. Look, and let's be honest about it. We fuss about, he doesn't know how to be presidential. He doesn't say the right thing. He fights. Well, he comes from Scotland, for heaven's sakes. They're fighters. And he's from New York. They're fighters. What do you want him to sit back? And then all the media, so he becomes president. I'm old. I'm 72. I've never had the media pound anybody like they pounded him. They lie on him. They try to impeach him. You got the media. You got political guys. You got all these people. Then they say, why does he only use Twitter? Well, no other media source will let him talk and say what he wants. He got to use Twitter. So he's saying some things. So then they say, well, he's a racist. I have my own black people say he's a racist. He's a racist. So I had Dean Nelson, who was one of the sons of Douglas' leadership, send me the documentation of what Leo Terrell was saying, of what this man has done for black people. When I got the record of what he's done for black people, I couldn't believe it. I have 15 pages. I could make it into a booklet right here. 15 pages of stuff this man has done for black people. Look at all this stuff right here. I'm not a low information Christian. This man has done a lot for black people. But they still don't understand. They're need-based in their mentality. They're supposed to be principle-based. In other words, I'm ghetto and gutter background. I'm from BMO, Baltimore, where you see more and do more, but you be more careful who you mess with. That's BMO. I was conceived out of wedlock. I didn't meet my dad for the first time until I was 35. But look at this. I came the wrong way, but I am the right results. This man believes in life. Planned Parenthood, the Hoochie Mama, Margaret Sanger that started Planned Parenthood. She followed the dictates of Malthus, Francis Galton. She's the one that followed this book, Origin of Species. If you buy the book now, you don't see the subtitle. The subtitle of the book is The Preservation of Favored Races for the Struggle for Life. That book is about eugenics. That book is not about creationism versus whatever. I gotta go, my time is just almost gone now. So in regard to this, I believe it's going to be even a greater miracle for him to win again. But we are in the throes of a revival. There is a revival. This man is a prophetic sign that God is favoring America one more time. We can't let this thing drop. We can't let it drop. And all those haters, they hate you. Look, I got with me. They hate you, they hate me, but I carry with me. I wore it this morning in Lifetime Fitness. Look, if I wear the mask, this is the marathon wear. Right here. Look, Trump, Pence. Trump, Pence. I'm wearing the Trump, Pence mask. I can see this man. If I'm from the ghetto, at the ghetto, if you don't know who you're talking to, who you're with, you could get killed. Well, this man is right out before us. You can see how he is. You can see what he thinks. So if I can see him, why do I criticize him? I don't want no fake president that acts one way in public and is another way in private. This man, I can see who he is, and I want him to win again. God bless you.